reality genre. News.
Bet. You bet. All right. If there's one thing I really hate, it's listening to a bunch of guys screaming talk show hosts, all right, yelling at their guests and any fool stupid enough to call in with a question. I mean, whatever happened to please and thank you? Well, tonight you're going to meet the rudest, most obnoxious talk hosts in America. I mean, these guys make me look like a Boy Scout. They're going to try to justify their behavior to our audience and each other. I hope all of their screaming and insults isn't too much for me. Oh, it's so easily for me to be shocked. Next, the Barbarians of Broadcasting. I'm going to introduce first at the loudmouth, well named for this loudmouth, all right, fellow by the name of Tom Leykis, who is, as a matter of fact, let me show you a little bit of Leykis. You got the monitor out here so our audience can see it here in the studio and our audience at home. Watch. This is Tom Leykis on radio. He's now at KFI in Los Angeles after making his way through Phoenix, Arizona safely. Go ahead, let's see Leykis.
I'm asking you now,
tape. That's it.
What about a community where when you're 50, you get booted out?
What are the reasons?
Oh, maybe because I don't want to live around false teeth, liniment, and colostomy bags.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's Leykis. Now, guys, everyone in America knows, especially in the New York area, one of the finest in the business, good friend of mine, great American, all right? Don't kick any here, you'll have mine to kick, too. Let me introduce you to Bob Grant. Let's take a look at Grant for a second, huh? Let me see Bob Grant at work. Let me see Bob Grant at work, huh? All right, let me have some audio. Come on.
That's
Come on,
because
folks.
you're a
Let's see Grant.
certified wimp, Ralph.
I was just telling the truth. In the past, you have abused me.
Yes, I have, and I will again because you annoy me.
Also, I would like to say that tomorrow, when all of you conservatives are having your turkey...
Bob, all right, let me ask you a question. You're another darling of the feminists with your views on women's place in the home. If you had your choice, where would you like to see women? Besides your bedroom. You want to hear how dumb he is, Bob? What do you think of women who stay home with their husband?
With no children.
No.
Let's get real about this. It's
No
only
children.
people with no children.
No children. What do you think of them?
I think that women who stay home and have their husbands taking care of them are prostitutes.
Let me tell you something. And because I don't want to offend the sensibilities of the audience in Schenectady, which says my show is a little bit too obscene. If my wife were here right now, bleep this, will you? She'd kick the out of you.
I think you're a pimp. You are a pimp. Case closed.
How about you? Would you go in the service?
Would I go in the service? No, I think we should have a professional military.
So you want the women in? This is great now.
No.
Figure this out, huh? Figure this out.
No.
I mean, does
think-
this sound like a...
That if there's going to be a draft and you're going to draft men, you've got to draft women equally. Equally.
And he wouldn't be drafted, Bob, so he'd be at his command post in Canada overseeing the women in the war.
By virtue of what he said a moment ago, he shows that he's immature and that he really doesn't respect women. Because
really?
a woman in home is more than what he said, much more.
A woman
She
in the
is
home
the
with no
backbone of the
children?
family.
What is a woman doing
She
sitting
raises
home
the
without
children.
going out and earning a living, without going out and doing something? Women who raise children, that's one thing. It's the toughest job in the world. But to have a woman sitting home and watching television while her husband goes out and earns a living, she's a whore and he's a pimp.
Let me ask you, this is the same line of crap I heard you use on Geraldo's show. I mean, you've never come up with anything new? Your act hasn't changed?
You brought this up. I didn't bring it up. Maybe
But
I
still
should have
sticking with
researched
it, huh?
a little more. Ask me if you
Still
walk with
sticking
me.
with it, aren't you?
I'm sticking with it
I
because
see
it's
you've grown
true.
a beard now that you're in L.A. You want to be with the boys, huh? Phoenix.
I have enough confidence in my manhood that I'm going to stand here and let you do that and let you show yourself for what you are, which is nothing but a name caller. That's all you are. The people here know it. You got these people barking like dogs out here. All right. And you are the perfect MC for this. You are on this. This is you love it. You love it, right? I know you love it.
We'll be back in just a second to talk more to this dog.
Depends on how you define the word basher. If anyone who objects to the term, for instance, gay, I don't think it should be called gay. I don't think there's anything gay about it because the rights of the gays are being decimated, as you know. I think one of my listeners came up with a much better idea, called them SADs, which means sexual AIDS distributors. Not all.
Tom, you've had a lot of time in your hands. You're one of the, in fairness to you, you're one of the best guys I know at monitoring talk shows around the country. You've listened to Lester's show.
Yes, I have.
Do you think his critics have a valid point when they accuse him of being a homophobe?
Oh, he's absolutely a homophobe. He's an AIDS phobic. And frankly, I think a lot of the things you say on the air are irresponsible. They whip up a lot of needless hysteria. And I'm amazed that they allow you to continue going on.
I look on that with the greatest pleasure, having been denounced by Hairless Joe, the Phoenix whorehound.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me point something out. You've written a script for this program. You're reading it off a pad over
I'm
there.
just covering it.
I've
never before been on Shout Show or Guerrilla Theater.
Yeah, you have to write a
How did
script.
they find you?
You get Bob Orban to write
Did they bring
this
you
for
in
What
with a
is
rope?
this?
Did they bring you in with a rope?
Is your whole show scripted when you're on in Baltimore?
No, not the whole show.
No, just part of it.
Occasionally we get strange people like you, but we enjoy it. It makes it very colorful. By the way, do you have anything against barbers?
Do I have anything against... Now, you see, you're a name caller.
Name calling?
You're a name
How
caller.
can I be calling a name? Do you think...
Oh, I see where you're heading. I've heard your
see where
program.
You have. I'm
see where you're
delighted.
heading.
I congratulate you on your appreciation of culture.
No,
Listen anytime.
I will also
We'll
stop.
try and
I
fit
also
you in.
stop and look at train wrecks and car accidents. Okay, they call
I'm
that
delighted.
rubbernecking. And I listen to your show. I've stumbled upon it many times.
How did you stumble? Tell us about it. How did you stumble?
No, I don't
Where
particularly,
is it that you listen
I don't
to the
particularly
show?
care how we
I don't
stumble,
think you
all right?
have.
I want to
think-
get back to some intelligence on the show. Let me come to Bob Grant. Bob,
Listen to your show is like watching a
let's
train
face
wreck.
it now. Let's face it, you've gone through this, and I know a lot of other people have. Some of your New York critics accuse you of expressing racist views on your show. Why would someone come to that conclusion?
Usually the person who accuses me of being a racist is himself a racist. For example, just today, I got a call. I won't even tell you the pigmentation of the caller, but it was quite obvious. And
Why was it obvious?
Well, he sounded very...
Do you sound
black.
Oriental?
Oh, he's not a racist.
You know,
How can you tell on the phone? I was going to say for the first time I would agree with Bob Grant. That's
I
horrifying.
don't know what that
but-
means the first time, but anyway.
Right. But how did you tell a person's race?
Well, the guy was black. The guy was
How do you
black
know?
because he told me he
You
was
can
black.
tell a person's race by the way it comes out
guy
on the phone?
told me he was black.
Oh, he told you? That's good. Now we got that.
There's a guy
proceed.
practicing to be a prosecuting attorney. Did you ask me a question?
Yeah, I did, Bob.
I can understand coming up, I can understand coming up from Baltimore how you try to make the most out of your appearance here.
Baltimore is
I thought
the
this
home
guy-
of Baltimore is the home of H.L. Mencken, Buster, who
I
could
thought
leave
this
you
guy
in
was
the
an usher.
shade.
Unfortunately, it's also the home of Barbara Mikulski, who a few years ago could stand next to you and leave you in the shade.
Oh, but I disagree with Barbara most of the time, but I do think that I would never ridicule her height. I really wouldn't.
Was I ridiculing her height?
Yes, I think so.
I said could stand next to you and leave you in the shade.
All right.
I think I
see.
was
All right.
describing her girth.
I retract.
Gotta
I
listen on
retract.
television, Lester.
Absolutely.
It's not like
it's
radio.
Fast. It's fast.
Not like radio, babe. Tom Leykis.
Radio. Wait a minute. Radio is the senior.
3,000 miles. I mean, is that
Thank
a
you very
fat one,
much.
Mondale, or not? I thought we got rid of you 4 years ago. Tom.
There's more of me to love, and you are the man with 10,000 teeth. So let's proceed with the
That's
libretto.
right. The bigger to bite your neck was her. Tom Leykis,
page 2
your
on
less
that, by the
than hectic schedule has allowed you to listen to probably, I guess, all of your competitors' shows. I don't know if you're looking for fresh material or what. Have you noticed any racist tendencies in Mr. Grant's programs?
Well, I'm a native New Yorker, now living on the other side of the country.
You know, I never got a chance to answer the question
Okay.
because this amateur night... You know what I mean, answer? Hey, look, I don't need this audition. This guy that came up here, this guy that came up here in this silly usher suit,
That silly usher suit is good enough for the White House, Buster, and I was here and working right opposite you,
You know, you're such
and
a
I had a
small
delightful time.
such a small-time person.
I'm such a small time. You're a big time, aren't you?
I'll tell you the
I would
truth.
say, now, way I would
I'll say,
describe
back to
you.
page 1.
You are.
Page 1. But that page.
He's written everything down.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This
ladies
is
and
why
gentlemen,
Mondale lost. He had to read
No,
everything.
no. Let me. No. Freedom now.
Hey, look.
This gentleman is a professional anger artist, a melodrama actor who hams it up. If you think it's genuine, you have been fooled.
Look at.
They do everything on New York radio.
I was going to say originally, all right, to the folks to turn off Lester's microphone. But this is the same thing as turning it on. This thing is turning it on.
The guy's sick.
Goodbye, Lester. Lester, bye. We'll be back in just a minute. We'll be back in just a minute. All right. You'll notice Lester is back with us again simply because not only did Lester overreact, but one of our security guards, always on the lookout for nutcases, found one in our studio. Let me introduce to you the real father of controversial talk on television, all right? His name is Alan Burke. I'd like you to see a show. I'd like you to see a segment of a show. Bring that monitor out for my audience and for the folks at home. A show that was not allowed to be aired just 20 years ago today. Let's see Alan Burke at work.
Well, listen, Mr. Rosenberg.
You're communicating to me already without answering
You better
my question.
believe I'm communicating, and
Right,
you're
it's
getting the
hostility.
message. You
Yes,
bet it's hostility,
mean.
because I think you're a nut.
Well, just relax.
Now, don't
Just-
touch me, boy, or out you'll go.
Just relax and be calm,
Look,
all right?
look.
Why do you want to throw everybody out? Is this free television or isn't it?
No.
It's not free television?
No.
Why isn't it free?
Nothing is
Nothing
free.
is free?
No.
Well, this belongs to us. This television studio belongs to the people, not to you, and not to ABC, and the Metro Media. These lights, everything belongs to the people. Don't you understand that? You can't throw anybody out. You're throw us out. Throw us out.
What the hell is that, man? For money you make people look like asses? For money. You're a human being too, man.
What do you own? You own this camera?
Oh, the great 60s, weren't they? They were fun. Okay.
Shut up. Freedom of religion. There's freedom of speech in this place, mister.
Listen, you
Let me assure you there's freedom of speech here, isn't there, Morton?
For everyone, including Alan.
Absolutely.
Including Alan, so let him speak.
Sit down.
You outweigh me by at least 300 pounds.
Oh, but he outweighed me.
Would you like to come over and tackle me like you did him?
No, I didn't.
You bet you
I
would.
did not tackle
Now,
him.
as I...
You're trifling with the truth again, Burke.
You would know
Straighten
the
it out.
truth if
Let
I...
him
Get
talk.
straight.
Mr. Mondale, please let him talk.
The question I would like to ask, unless I misunderstood, is it Solving? Is that your name? I'm serious. I don't know you.
Kinsolving.
No, it's
Kinsolving.
jerk.
All right.
That's right.
Is that the proper way?
No, yes, it is. You mess with my name, I'll mess with your name. We
not-
sat there for a half an hour beforehand, at which time you were polite. Now you were going into Mau act.
No, really? Let me ask you this. In that half hour,
I'd be delighted. What do you have in mind?
Well, I hope you get laryngitis, first of all. I would like to ask you, during that half hour, didn't you tell me you were a priest?
Yes.
You are a Catholic priest?
No.
What kind of a priest are you?
Why did you ask me? I was a Catholic priest. I told you I had a wife. Do you know many Catholic priests with wives?
I
Mr.
know
Burke?
Catholic priests who have been married.
I see.
Yes, indeed I do.
Well, let me ask
What
you
kind
this.
of a
Would you like
wanna
to
answer
me to
that
go
question?
into your
Do
religion?
you
What
want
has that
to
got to
answer
do with
this
it? Why do we
question?
bring this in?
I want to bring this in because if you are a priest, you certainly are detrimental to the religion that you
absolutely lovely. You tell me about your religious experience, Alan. Are you an
You
authority?
Yes, I am.
Oh, are you? Tell me about it.
Why don't you?
Well, I'll
Morton,
tell you,
Tell me about your religious
We'll have a show on
authority.
we'll have a show on religion
That'll be
Sunday
lovely.
morning.
That'll be
Sunday
lovely.
morning at 6, all right where they belong. Now, let me come to the professor, please. Professor Alan Walper, the director of journalism, Rutgers University in Newark, New Jersey. Professor, how are you? I mean, you've referred to my type of show as, I think you called it insult journalism. I mean, aren't you sorry that you did that now? Don't you see what a nice guy I am?
I didn't say insult journalism. I said it was an insult to journalism. There's a difference.
Oh, an insult to journalism. All right, I wouldn't insult you being a professor at a university where they give PhDs for fraternity gazing. I mean, well, what are you doing with
It's true. Basically, I feel like I'm an intruder here. I feel like I went to a Knick game by mistake.
Never been this much action at a Knick game, Professor.
I can't believe it. I'm not really sure why I'm here. I know that talk shows are pretty hot. I know Bob Grant for a number of years. I've been on his show. Actually, he's been on mine. And I'm not really sure what this is all about, except there seems to be a trend in the country where everybody shouts at each other and nobody listens.
What brings that about?
I don't know. Look at all the people. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
What's wrong with these people?
They're nice people, but they're really...
Can you honestly tell me that there is anything wrong with this young lady? Can you honestly tell me?
Thank you, Mr. Downey.
I never said there was...
Boy, are you a horny old guy. Now, you talk about...
I've been a journalist for 22 years, and one of the things I've learned to do is never to shout back at people, because people who usually shout are trying to hide a lot. And what I guess is that you're shouting...
I will open myself up. You can ask me any question you want to. Go ahead. What am I hiding?
How many times have you been married?
I don't think you have anything...
Twice.
How many... No. This belongs to me now, folks. How many times have you been married?
Twice.
How many times you screw around on your first wife?
Never.
Never screwed around on your first wife?
Never.
How many times have you messed around on your second wife?
Never.
How many times have you had sex since the day you got married the first time?
I have no idea.
He has no idea,
No
neither does
idea.
his wife, all right? Okay, next we'll meet a woman who says housewives should be paid for their labor. Stand by.
And we want that changed. And not that when we ask for things like child care or comparable worth or Social Security or welfare, we want it because we are entitled to it, we've worked for it,
And
we've
men
earned
pay
it.
for it because men go out and earn the living still in this world. Women spend it, men make it.
And they come
That's the
back and
truth.
don't do any housework.
Boy,
That's the truth. How many
no
men get the
wonder when
option?
I asked him how many times he had had sex, he couldn't think, huh? I mean, what intelligent woman is going to lie down and let that lump on top of
At
her?
least I do not have to pay for it. Thank you.
Personally, I think the lady is absolutely right. I think that...